Welcome, America. Welcome, CHASITY. It's Gaby Company here from the Dreaming Show, Australia. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Really, really good. Very happy to be talking with
Yes,
you. It's
yes,
amazing how technology works, CHASITY. We
yes,
are,
it
we
is.
are talking, making the difference smaller. Thank you
Right.
for being with me here.
Thank you for.
CHASITY, you have a story to tell us, please. Could you tell us a little bit about you? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
my book. Yes, you're kind of going a little bit in and out, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. My story, I wrote this book earlier this year. It took me about 3 months to write my story. This story is a testimony of a difficult journey that I had about 4 years ago. I was pregnant with my second child. I had a disease, a digestive disease, and I immediately was dying. And I also became homeless soon after I was pregnant because of a financial hardship. And I was able to get through my pregnancy. It was a very difficult pregnancy. I was dying throughout the whole entire pregnancy. I was in and out of the hospital. I was on different medications. It came down to me being, the doctors talked about putting me on a feeding tube to keep me alive. So I made it through all of that and had a healthy baby boy. He was born 9 months later. About a year after he was born, he was about a year old. My husband received a surprise news that he was going to be laid off. He had been working his job for about 6 years, and out of the blue, with no warning, he was told that he was going to be laid off within 30 days. So we were still trying to get over our first financial hit. We were not prepared for a layoff, so we became homeless again a year later. So homeless twice, dying of a disease, all these different things that I faced, but yet I overcame all of those obstacles to be who I am today.
Mhm. Tell me, Chasity, how this situation from 1 to 10 affected you emotionally?
It was a 10 plus. That's how it affected me. It affected me because, this disease that I had, I could not digest food. So I lost all of my weight. I was very weak. I couldn't do a lot of things for myself. It was, mentally, I was very fragile. It was very devastating.
Mhm. How was the support from your husband?
Say that one more time.
How was the support from your husband? Your husband
It
was with you suffering as well. What happened with him? How did he feel?
with my husband, he was devastated too. He was working full time while I was sick, so he was trying to maintain his job, and he was actually working in the hospital where I was a patient. So he was working upstairs in the hospital, and I was downstairs in the hospital. So he would come, on his breaks and come visit me, but it was very, very hard for him to see me like that.
Mhm. Tell me, Chasity, what did you learn from this experience? What's the message that you need to say to everyone?
I would say from this experience to never give up. So, sometimes life is going to happen. You're going to have problems and obstacles. You're going to have, things that come at you. Sometimes things will come at you all at once. You're going to feel like, the roof is falling in on you, but never give up. Never lose hope in the fact that you can overcome any obstacle in life, because I would not be sitting here if I gave up. And I'm not going to say that I wasn't tempted. I'm not going to say I didn't get tired or weary, but I continue to push through my difficulties. And I'm here, to share my story. I wrote a book to let people know that they don't have to give up. You can keep your hope, you can keep your faith, and everything will work out.
What's the title of your book?
The title of my book is Broken for the Promise.
Uh-huh. Tell us, please, more about your book.
My book is about, I believe it's about 12 chapters long. It took me, what I did was I started journaling my experiences being sick, being homeless, all the things that I suffered. So I go into a lot of detail in my book about those things. But I also talk about God. I also talk about the things that I did to help me be persistent, to help me keep my faith and keep my hope. It took me about a total of about 3 months. Once I start writing everything down that I remembered, then I kind of felt that it was time for me to turn it into a book. So about a month later, you know, my book, I met a lady on Facebook, and she published my book. And so my book came out on July 1st. It is available on Amazon as a Kindle and hard copy, and as a Nook book on Barnes & Noble.
Okay, congratulations. I can read in your post that you always talk about God. You know what happens in life? Sometimes when we have problems, we complain about God. According to your experience, what happened with you? How was the relationship with you and God?
I've always been a strong Christian. I was raised in a Christian home all of my life. My parents were Christians. They raised me, myself and my sisters as Christians. So I've known God since I was like 9 years old. That's when I officially became a Christian. But when I went through this difficult time, it kind of it made me feel that a little bit like I was being punished, like I had done something wrong, and I kept asking God to take this pain away that I was going through. He didn't necessarily take my pain away, but he gave me the strength to push through it. And so I had all these questions in my mind about God. Why am I going through this? And I didn't get the answers right away, and that was very frustrating for me. So I kind of felt like God, at some points, that God wasn't listening to me. But then as I pushed through my situation, I realized that he was listening, and he had a plan for my life. And he wanted me to help people. He wanted me to sit here and tell my story to you, to the world. He wanted me to help the people that I've been helping, to give them a message of hope. And if I had not gone through those things, I would not be able to share my message, because really, when you talk to people about hope and faith, they want to know that you've been through something. I think experience is the best teacher. And people can listen to you when they know you've been through something. So it helps for people to be able to identify with your situation. And so the more I pressed into God, I realized that he had a plan for my life. And that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I'm sharing my story.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, you are right. Sometimes we need to be in a difficult position to learn, to grow up as a human being.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Right. I did a lot of growing up. My marriage, of course, was tested in that situation, but my husband and I are closer than we've been before, because we've been through literally everything. We've been at the bottom. So our relationship is stronger. But it's not because, it could have fallen apart, because, Gabby, some people don't stay, a lot of relationships fall apart when they go through stuff like that, when they go through hard times. People don't always stay together. It was a choice that my husband and I made to stay together, to work together through our difficulties. It was a choice that we made. We had to decide that every single day, that we were going to stay together and we're going to get through this.
Yeah, I like when you say choice. It's very, very true. Everything is a choice. Your husband chose to be with you. You had the choice to be with your husband. Well done.
Thank you.
What else can you tell us, please, about you, about your book? What the new goals that you have in life?
Right now, I'm married. My husband and I have been married 8 years. He's a wonderful husband, very supportive of me. He stood by my side, through that difficult time. And like I said, our relationship is stronger. I have 2 sons. Joshua, my little son, who was the one I was carrying through this difficult time. He's almost 4. He'll be 4 on Monday. And I have an older son who saw me, basically on my deathbed. He's my oldest son. He's 10. And he still remembers, that difficult time that I went through. Right now, I've been building my speaker platform. So since this book came out, I've been given a lot of invitations, a lot of opportunities to share my story on radio, and with Gaby here, with a number of people. So I'm really, my goal is to share my story with as many people as will listen to me, to get the word out. Because I think in these days and times with people facing so many problems, especially right now with the holidays, people are depressed, they have financial situations, they feel down, they don't have their loved ones that have died earlier this year. So I really want to push my message of hope. I think that this message is encouraging, it's enlightening, it's uplifting. So my goal is to build my platform, to continue to push forward with my message. So that's my goal.
Yeah, it's very important what you say, Chasity, because we learn from others. You know, sometimes we think that we are just suffering ourselves, and it's not. You are telling your story to the world, and it's very, very important. Thank you very much, Chasity. Thank you. And I can see you, you are becoming more famous every single day. Congratulations.
Yes, something like that. I'm enjoying it. You know, I just see it as I'm always forever humble to God, because if it had not been for him, I would not be doing this, because I still could be crying over it, Gabby. I could still be feeling sorry for myself. It is a choice that I made to get up, to brush myself off and say, you know what, that was a horrible time in my life, but I overcame it by the grace of God. And this grace that he's given me, I want to share it with somebody else. So it's a choice, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. As you say, never give up. We learn every single day. We need to grow up as a human being. We need to continue learning and learning. Thank you. Do you need to add something else to the interview today?
I just want to say that life is full of lessons, and sometimes those lessons are hard punches. They punch us, you know, they cut us, you know, they make us bleed. They make us, you know, feel like, you know, the world is over. But like Gabby said, never give up. No matter what you're facing, I don't care if you're sleeping in your car. I don't care if you have a disease and the doctors are giving you up. I don't care if your family and your friends have forsaken you. Guess what? God is there, and he stood by me. I'm a living witness that, you know, when all else failed, God never left me. I'm a living witness and a testimony of his goodness. So I just want to, you know, reemphasize that over and over again, to never, ever give up.
Thank you, Chasity. Thank you. I really appreciate that you are here telling us your story. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best in your family, in your projects. It was a pleasure for me to have America in Australia. Very, 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 very happy. All the best, Chasity. It was a pleasure once again to be with you.
Yes, thank you. And now let's stay connected. So I would definitely keep in touch with you.
Thank you. It was a
Thank
pleasure. It was a pleasure to be with you, Australia, USA, Mexico, South America, any country, to be with you. I would like to say all the best and see you next time. Gaby Company was here, Melbourne, Australia.